Hi guys, welcome to the Creativity Incorporated channel. My name is Diana and welcome if you are new and welcome back if you're a longtime friend. And I wanted to start with this cover that I made. I don't want to make your videos long and boring, so I tried to make like a journal and then kind of show you the like important things that I think are important to you. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comments what works best for you. I'm just trying to make better content each day or each video. And I wanted to show you that I made this journal and I used that paper from that paper packet. And I love the paper and the texture, but I didn't love the whole black dots. It was, I don't know what the heck it was supposed to mean. So in my head, I wanted to put some rusty screw heads. So I went ahead and did some screw heads. And it was, what I did is I hole punched a bunch of 1 inch. I think it's like a 1 inch or half an inch. Either way, I think you could do just, this works with any size. So what I did is I would cut two of them, and on the one that goes on top, I'd cut it up in 4 squares, and in the middle, make sure you cut the corner that goes in the middle, because that's where kind of like your screw head goes in, like the screwdriver goes in. Anyways, when I first started this journal, I thought I was gonna be using a different way of binding. So this is me setting up for that binding. I don't, and plot twist, I don't use it at the end, but I thought I showed it anyway because you'll see those little things at the end of the book, which I don't use, but they're there anyway. So I'm going to, this is how I painted one of the, what is it called? Like little pieces of art that I included on there. And for my Patreons, these will be, I will scan these and put them up. I know I'm really late, like this month, for the images for my Patreons, but I had like other content prepared for you guys, and I didn't want to like not put it in the channel, so that's why I wanted to. I'm bringing you guys what are gonna be available for the Patreons for the month of January. So I did a splatter kind of background because I wanted to draw like one of those oilers. I saw on Pinterest, a really cool oiler, and they're made out of ceramics, and they're not like a realistic oiler like the ones I have, but I really like the steampunk of it. At the end, I don't think it matches the rest of the book, like the rest of the artwork in the journal, because it's kind of like a distant relative of the oilers that I have here. I mean, it doesn't match, but the colors kind of do, so I guess I was all right. I wasn't too bothered by it at the end. And I used acrylic paint to paint this. I didn't, use watercolors or anything. I also, you guys know, I like to make like shapes, and like it's like a cardboard ephemera to me, I guess, of oilers, and I use them on the journal too. I'm going to scan them and make them available for my patrons. Now, I can scan this and make this available as well for the patrons, but let me tell you, it's pretty easy. You grab a shape that you kind of want for the layout you're looking for, and you make a trim all around it, like a 1 inch or in my case is a 3/4 inch edge all around, like kind of like a frame, right? And what I did is I cut only the top, the top parts of it, and then from there, I guess what you guys can see that I'm doing here is pretty, what is it called? Self-explanatory. But pretty much what you want to do is just like, you're gonna grab the frame that's like the piece that goes on the frame that you've created, because both of these pieces of paper are the same size, right? So you want to cut and create something that goes under that frame, that empty frame that you have, so that you can make the pop-up come in the hole. So you got to make it the same size as close as you can, but without getting stuck. So what I did is I You guys saw this. I didn't do it on screen, but what I did is I made the same papers exactly the same way, and when I made my lines, I went ahead and marked the same measurements. I didn't copy it. I could have just traced the bottom, but I needed the lines that extended all the way up and all the way down. So to me, that was kind of like the best way to do it. Just have the same size of paper and then measure all the way around. Now I want to do like a little frame on the frame. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue it first because I'm done. I don't want to measure this because it's not the same size. And I was about to cut it. I had traced it and I was gonna cut it and slip it. But what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna glue it on there and then just cut the windows out. I think that's the best way to get at things, and closer cut anyway. These are the printables available for download for the patrons. Now these are my actual oilers, my collection. Actually, it's like now about half of my collection because I took these pictures like maybe a year ago, or maybe even two now. Back in my earlier videos, I made a like a layout, like a scrapbook layout, and I took pictures of them and I cut them out. But so I have them then, but I know since then I've purchased maybe like 10 or more. I am obsessed with collecting oilers. Anywho, I have these old what is it called? Oil cans, and I guess you would use this oil to fill up your oilers. So what I'm gonna do is on one side of the pop-up flip thingy majinger that I'm doing, I'm going to use some of these for that window. So what I'm doing here is I'm tracing it so that I know which one goes to where, just in case one of the windows is different size than the other. Anywho, cutting, gluing, the same thing, mumbo jumbo. I don't want to bore you with it so much, so I just put a little clip on there. But meanwhile, I want to thank you guys for coming to my channel. I know it's kind of weird. I know it's a little different. I feel like different than other people, and I feel like like these are more like manly and like, I don't know, journals. I see all kinds of like whimsical journals and butterflies and unicorns, like the girly stuff, and I've always felt non-girly-ish in a way, so I feel like that comes across in my journal sometimes. And that's just probably like my childhood speaking, because I was always a big tomboy when I was growing up. I had a tree house, and that's where my stuff was. I mean, that's what I used to do. I remember girls were like talking about painting their nails and playing like jump rope and stuff, and I was like in my tree house building like a house and like doing stuff with my dad, and like it was just not, I was not that. So I guess that comes across with my world of art and my collections. They're darker than I wanted it to be. Like I've always, and I told you guys before that I wish my art was a little bit like more white, more girly, but it's hard for me to be thinking differently. Like I see other people's artwork, and I love when I see like the whiteness and the beautiful rainbow colors, because that's my heart, like sunny flowers. But it doesn't come across on my art, and it's frustrating for me sometimes. But I do it with a lot of joy and a lot of love for you guys, and I you guys help me out a lot, because if it wasn't because I was sharing it with you guys, I'd feel like maybe I wouldn't not go out of my way, but maybe I wouldn't do it, because I feel like it's not me. So what, like for example, I'm doing something and I feel like it's not me, but I feel like, well, maybe they'll like it. That's how I see it. But if I wasn't doing it for you guys, maybe I'd be like, I'm not happy with it, so I'm just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like having this channel has helped me express myself a little bit more, because I feel like even though I feel like sometimes it's not for me, I feel like you guys would enjoy it. So I go out of my way to make it so that you know, maybe you guys would like it too. I know that some people are out there, you know, maybe looking for something a little different, like, you know, that like me. But you know, sometimes I feel weird about it. I don't know. I just thought I'd share. Anyway, so as you guys can see, I don't know what words to use to clarify my pop-up, but it's just pretty much what I showed you guys there. You glue the top, I mean the one of the, some of the flops to the bottom of the flip of the frame, and then you use the two little ones to glue directly onto your base. And this is another picture of one of my oilers. So it comes, I make them so that that you're able to fold the paper and use it as, you know, one of your pages, like, you know. But in this one, I wished when I saw it, when as I was printing them for you guys to see, I saw it, I was like, I couldn't help myself but to see a frame, like a window. So I was like, oh man, it's just a little bit more. So what I'm doing here, I'm just cutting it and pretty much rearranging it. And you know, I was so happy because I felt like it was gonna look like a little lopsided, like unnatural curve, but it didn't. So I was like, oh, yeah. And so I'm using it as a what is it called? Frame? Not frame. Is it a frame for my window? Yeah. So the oiler is gonna be in the frame to my window, and I cut it out, and I'm gonna glue it first. Then, you know, that I glue it first, then I cut out my window, so that if I have my guide. Rather, I could have drawn it up first on the thing and then cut it up, but I don't like how it will not be perfect, and I don't want it to be perfect, but I want it to be neat, you know. So I'm gonna glue it, and then based on that, I'm gonna cut it after that. Okay, so I cut the big window out, and then I decided to be a little extra because why not? So I cut out the little window that goes in between, like the handle, and it's just a little something extra. And so I'm gonna use a little bit of acetate and cover up my window. Okay, once I installed my window, I have I'm gonna glue it in the back of where I did that flip out pop-up thingamajigger, and I'm gonna use it as a pocket. So I was gonna shape the outside corners and make it you know, like an obvious pocket-ish, but I think I'm just gonna use it as a sort of just pocket thing. And so anyways, I missed a file, not a file, a clip. I don't know what happened. I think it got corrupted as to how I did this little booklet that I glued, and then I stapled it inside that little flop. So that's this like dark, not dark green, but like that green where I glued everything on there. What had a little flop. So onto that little flop, I stapled some papers, sort of like a little notebook, and I used the leftover, not leftover, but the last printed um, oiler that I had, and they were these are coffee stained already, so I just printed on. I actually went ahead and printed it again on there, on this one that I didn't use before. Okay, so I know I lost you there. The one image that I hadn't used, like this one right here that I'm touching on the paper, I hadn't used it on my journal yet. So I went ahead and printed it on a coffee dyed paper, and so I can use it on there. But you see that one paper that I had just used? You can use that and do this thing that I did here as well, the little pocket out of this oiler. And you don't have to use that other one. You can use this one or the other one. Okay, I lost you there too. I have two oilers that are kind of the same size, and you can use either or to make a pocket, sort of like this one, like a side pocket, that the spout kind of like separates the two pockets. Anywho, all those splatters and splashes of oil or stain I'm trying for them to resemble an oil spill or oil. They're from that Tim Holtz a template, and at first I was like, I wanted to make like oil splatters and stuff, and I can't believe I even have it. I thought I had lost it because I recently moved a lot of stuff, and I think I donated a box that I wasn't supposed to donate of my stuff because I did a clean out, and I actually didn't. I was a good girl. Well, it's because I was cleaning, and then I took out a bunch of stuff, and then the kids helped move stuff, and I was at the end, and then I was preparing for this video, and I noticed like some stuff were gone. Now I don't know what stuff. I guess I'll find out later as I'm looking for them. But I for sure thought I had like a little ring where all my stencils are, and I couldn't find them, and I found them in another box that I was rearranging. I was so happy because I had when you're like, oh, like that light bulb moment, and then you're like, I'm gonna use that stencil, and then you're like, oh, but Chucks, I thought I'd throw it away, and then you didn't. So yay for me. And so I played with that, different colors, different paints. So I had like water translucent or translucent paint, and then I also did the translucent paint is from Golden, and then I also used the typical acrylic paint. So I'm gonna use, I have a bunch of these soda can tabs that I painted gold. So because that's one of the colors that I use the most to like accentuate my projects, I went ahead and did a bunch of them one time that I did them. I sat here and I just painted all of them. Now I use this oil-based paint that I recommend you use because I have used other paints and they scratch off so easily, so annoying because it looks, so sometimes it looks grungy, which is kind of cool, but I don't like the shiny grungy because it doesn't go. So I don't like that the shiny tab comes through. Anywho, I ranted enough. On the first one, what I did is I used one of those fasteners, those paper fasteners, and on this one, I'm going to show you how you can just use it with regular paper. You can't glue the tab to the paper, but what I did here is I'm going to use a little, it's like a band-aid, but it kind of looks like a little strip of paper. I mean, it is a strip of paper, but it reminds me of a band-aid. And so what I did here, I didn't want to glue them right next to each other because they kind of seeped out of the spine. So what I did is I kind of went up a little bit on one and then down on the other one so that it goes in more, because I didn't want them to bump. Not that it was too close or that it was too fat and they were gonna be bumpy, but I didn't want to cause any problems for myself. You know what I mean? So I wanted to avoid problems, so I put it inside more. And if I had more spines, I can go up and down, which it would look cool, right? So that's what I was thinking later. If I decide to add another like signature like these, and these are, I don't know if these would be called signatures because they're pretty fat, like not fat like in they have a lot of stuff, but I made them wide, so I don't know if they would be called signatures. But in my head, I want to call them magazines. I don't know why. They would make sense in my head that you put a lot of magazines and make a book. You know what I mean? Anyways, so that's how it is. And this is the results. These are the spine holders or the signature holders. And then you oil your screw first. Then you see that screw actually holds the book closed. And then you open your signature. See? Your book page. Then you see all your cute stuff. You see that blob, the red blob? That's a glue spill that I let dry and then I painted it on the bottom before I glued it. That's the pocket. that's another little piece of paper that I decorated. And then you see, now you see two oilers. Beautiful. And this is the paper, like, you know, just journaling spot. And what I did with the remaining stickers, I made a little pocket, and the acetate actually tucks into the soda tab. Because the way I do it, it stays on really good. That little tab really does hold in the acetate so it doesn't open. Just, you know, FYI, that's a really good pocket closure. Um, this is the pocket with the other oiler, and I used this what is it, label, and I did a little gluing on the back. I try to cut in as many of the little oilers that I could, so just to decorate here and there. Um, on this one, I want to decorate this more, this little book, but I want to find more like original ephemera, and that's where I want to put it. And that's the end of the book. And there's my maker's label signature. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this journal. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. It helps my channel, and like I said, it helps me a lot. Till next time, guys, stay crafting. Love you. Bye.